Hello and welcome to Shoot the Shit with Squeegee. I'm your host, the Squeegee of Justice. You may know me as a partner and mod at Trial TV Live, but tonight I'm coming to you with a side broadcast, a place where you get to know me a bit better and I get to know you. So join me and let's go shoot some shit. Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We have got a great show for you tonight. True Crime Addict will be joining us from the UK, and it's late in the evening there for her. Excuse me. So she is a content creator, streamer who follows trials in the US. So I'm really looking forward to talking to her. And we, of course, appreciate her time. I know it's late for me. I know it's late for her. So, but before we bring her on, let's just do a quick check-in with our chat and see who is with us. We got therapist Ken Rosenberg, out and about with Diane. Thank you for joining us. Kathy Swan, good to see you. Let's see, Katya Pickrell is in the chat. I wonder who that is. Julie, hello to you. Let's see who else. Ken, you guys are talking. Let's see. Yeah, you lost it when Paulie darted out of the house. Yeah, and then so Paulie accesses the screen. Our screen is broken. See over here, the screen door over here. Where am I? The screen door here behind that door is broken. So I want to fix it, but Paulie just jumps through it, and yeah, she is a mess sometimes. Itty bitty. Are we going to show Megan Boswell tomorrow? No, we're going to pick up on Karen Reed tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be Karen Reed, and then we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between Megan and Monica. So my plans are to do Megan in the morning and then, pick up on Monica in the afternoon. So just so you know that. Karen Reed for the next couple days. Debbie Blair, Joe Schmo, how are you? And Karen Reed. Yep, we're picking up on Karen Reed tomorrow, guys. Cajun Bayou Queen, hello. Good to see you. All right. Well, I know it is early in the morning, so let us bring our esteemed guest out. TCA8, hello. How are you?
Hello, I am good. I'm hoping my nightbot will bring me a coffee soon again, because it will be my second one, because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So,
Oh my God. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you hanging with us, and I know it's early for
thank you
you.
for having me. It's an honor to be here with you guys. I mean, it's been a long time coming, to be fair.
It has been. And I've been messing with my lights all day, and I'm trying
Oh
to
no.
get this sorted out. Let me try that. Might be a little bit calmer. Okay. Yes. So the story behind that is when we opened up memberships, it was a chance to get to know you guys, our chat, and for you to get to know us and for us to get to know you. So one of our membership levels was for you to come on the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. So you, TCA 8, are...
Yeah, you can call me my name. My name is
Okay.
out there anyways.
Okay, so Katya. All right. It's out there, Katya.
It's
All right.
not big a thing. I'm Katya TCA. We never been in the same room together, so.
All right, cool. So, all right. So you are the official first person to be on the show that is part of that membership level, and the floor is yours. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you are, and so forth.
Wow, what do I don't do? So I guess that people can probably guess where I'm from, but I'm originally from Portugal, but I live in the UK. I've been here for the past 10 years. I am a baker by day, a streamer by night. Basically, I'm host. So I have two jobs. And then oh, hello, Kay. Sorry, I'm just reading. If I'm looking that way, it's because I'm
Yeah,
reading chat
yeah. Go for
on
it.
the
Kay
other
Wood.
screen.
Is Kay
Yeah.
part of your group?
Yeah, she's been one of the founders of my channel, so it's been really great to get to know. So I told everyone that I was going to be here today, and I told them to
Nice.
come check you guys out and check my great interview out as well. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's what this is all about. Is we're sharing and we're commingling, if you will. And we put Katya, True Crime Addict's handle, if you will, link to your YouTube channel in our description. So guys, please go and subscribe to Katya, TCA8. I like that. So all right, so you're Portuguese. You moved to the UK, and you are
yes.
covering UK. No, you're covering US trials.
I'm covering more US trials
Yeah.
because UK doesn't stream yet,
Right.
but they
Okay.
are in the works of that. I'm actually in
Okay.
the works of something with it's actually Northern Ireland courts about a case that it's coming up there. I'm
Mhm.
actually trying to talk to them and getting permission from the judge.
Mhm.
So it's with the judge now. My case. That sounds bad when I say my case is with the judge.
Right. Right. Yeah. No.
it's,
No. You
it's
don't ever want to be on one of our trials, one of our streams.
yeah, no, it's not a trial for me. It is a case that we are following and I really want to
Mhm.
follow. And I'm trying to ask the UK courts basically in a way to be able to have access to it as a content creator. And that would be like one of the first because they are not when they hear the word YouTube in the courts, they were like, "Ew, what's that?" It's like
Mhm.
something foreigner it's not like in America that you guys can live stream and everything. So it's
Right.
completely different.
Right. So let me start with what took you from Portugal to the UK then, to England, I'm assuming, right? You're in England?
Yes, I am. I am in England, in the northeast of England.
Okay. You don't need to dox
People
yourself.
not more. It's fine. Northeast of England is quite big, so it's okay.
Okay. So, okay.
People know most often they laugh about this because when I say why I came to England, I came for the weather.
What? Wait a minute.
See, don't you?
Yep. Oh, yep, we got a cat. We got a cat. Sorry. We got a cat moment.
What's the name?
This is Polly. She's a female. She's got a very
Oh,
fluffy
hello,
tail.
Polly. I
Hello, Polly.
can
Here.
only see the tail, but hello.
Let me see. Oh, look, come on.
Oh, I think she's camera shy.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Polly had her moment. She had her 15 moments there. 15 minutes. All right.
15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. All right. So you moved to the northeast of England for the weather. I'm hoping that you like it cold and cloudy and snowy. Romantic. I would
Well,
say that's romantic, but go ahead.
it's not really that cold and or snowing people and gloomy because literally we've been having some very good sunny days
Okay.
and it's not normal, but it is not that like it's not raining all the time like people think that the UK rains all the time and it's gloomy. We
Right.
do have the sun, but because I have a skin condition that I don't do good with the hot weather. So for years I struggled and I was like, I need to move somewhere where I can adapt a bit better. So I moved to England because of that. But I just say it's like because of the weather because it's a funny joke and makes people laugh.
Absolutely. No, it got me. That's the last thing because most people want to go where it's sunny and warm and
Exactly. They normally
yeah.
go do the opposite, to Portugal because Portugal has a similar weather like Florida.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
so
did have
yeah,
a
I know.
chance.
But I'm
I had a chance to go to England once. I think it was in '97, and I went in July, and it was what I expected, meaning it was dreary, and it wasn't cold. It was like 65 degrees, and they're like, "Oh, this is a heat wave." But
yeah.
I loved it. I'm a big fan of England. I've always loved castles and King Arthur, and so I'm a big fan of that. But
Oh, there is. As I actually went to a museum the other day, and I did a bit of a members video about it,
hmm,
and it was a gorgeous. I can try to show a picture of the castle. Well, where the
yeah, yeah,
museum is, because it was kind of a castle. Let me give me
yeah,
2 seconds.
sure, sure.
I take way too many pictures.
Yeah,
So this is
uh,
the outside of
spectacular.
yeah.
Is
It is.
that Leeds?
It was
Is it Leeds or
sorry.
is that Leeds? No. Which one is that? Which
No,
part?
no, this is where I live. So
Oh,
this is like about half an hour where I live.
I
So
gotcha.
it's not that far. I will keep that location and the wraps. No, I'm joking.
Please do, please do. Yeah, yeah. I went on a castle tour. I still have the book. All the pictures that I took. Maybe
Mm,
15 castles or so. It was fun. It was exciting. That was like a bucket list for me. So
yeah.
what do you?
So, but it's actually it's really beautiful, especially when it is like um the morning dew and
Mhm.
snowing. It is very beautiful. It
I'm
is very
sure.
pretty place.
Sorry. You okay? She's like panting. I'm not sure what her story is right now. Are you okay?
Oh, is you all right?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right, we'll continue on. If we need to call
That's all right.
the no, no, it's okay. I don't know what to do. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's just move on. We'll keep an eye on her though. So okay, so we established that you moved from Portugal to England. So okay, so how about YouTube? Where and why? I guess why? What brought you into YouTube, and what's the fascination with trials? Right?
True crime.
Yeah, true
Well, YouTube is because I've been watching YouTube for a very long time. It's the only thing I've watched. I don't have a normal like television, like satellite cable, nothing like
crime.
that. I've been
Mhm,
watching YouTube. Before I was got into deep into crime, I watched a lot. I watch a lot of gameplays, like
mhm,
people playing games, and sometimes it's just in the background, like to keep me company. But
okay.
true crime, I got more into it since I got an injury last year.
Mm.
I was 2 months at home, and then I found I don't know. Can I say RA?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
found
Yeah.
well, I found our friends in law and crime first, and then
Mhm.
I got scared of the chat, and then I found RA, and then I
Yeah.
just started watching trials all the time, and
Mhm.
it became like an obsession,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
investigating and loving it. And then in what I think it was about September time, I got to thinking, I could try do it myself. If I fail, I fail. If I don't fail, I don't fail. There's nothing to lose, really.
Right.
Because there's trials that I'm interested about, and there's people cover what they want to cover, and I
Mhm.
was like, but I want to cover that. I want to watch that one, and so
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna do it myself, and I will cover it.
Mhm.
And just
Yeah.
go from it.
That's fascinating because we started similarly. Erin is
Mm,
huge into true crime. She has been for a very, very long time. And we watched Jodi Arias together. I'm sure you're familiar
yeah.
with Jodi. Yeah. So we watched that. And this was
Who isn't?
yeah, exactly. It was before YouTube. I mean, YouTube didn't, I think, well, you tell me what you think. I think YouTube for us and true crime kind of blew up with Depp and Heard. What do you think?
Mm.
Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, I think yeah, I think that was the foundation, and also Darrell Brooks was a very big
Hmm.
one as
Yeah.
well after what
Yeah.
what he did. So it's
Yeah.
just yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that too. Yeah. So Aaron's been watching true crime, and so before YouTube kind of blew up, we would watch documentaries, on whatever, Netflix or
Yeah.
wherever. I'm sure you did the same thing, right? Um, Yeah. So, but then, yeah, once Johnny and Amber came around, and of course Emily D. Baker, everybody knows her and loves her. Yeah, the dreaded court TV and law and crime, as Aaron is reminding me. Yeah, they were kind of the only game in town, right? And then Emily, we ran across Emily, and then from there we just ran across everybody else. Rob from Law and Lumber, and then
Yeah.
Runkle, Ian Runkle, and then, like you said, Scott, a recovery addict, and then it just exploded. So we again, same situation. We sit around, we have a marketing company, so we're doing this, and we have as background, noise, if you will. We're showing these, we're having these trials going. So we're like last May, we're like, why don't we just do it ourselves? So I think we
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. I mean,
similar
why
path.
not?
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you do
so,
good, great, awesome. And if you fail, well, at least you try. That's
yeah,
like the thing. My motto in life is no is always guaranteed. So you should always try to aim for it and go for it because the no is already there.
right,
What else can happen? The worst can happen. Is
right.
they say yes and you succeed. So you just go for it. And
Mhm.
if you fail, well, you tried. At least you
I,
gave it a go, and you can say, "Well, I tried." But if you
I like
don't, what's
What's
you know.
what's yeah, I like that. I like that attitude. That's a great attitude. That's a great attitude. And I assume that you apply that to everything else in your life as well?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean,
Mm,
I did that when I started courting with my partner. I
mhm.
do that with like interviews. I was like, I have a positive mindset. That's the
Mhm.
thing. I think I have a positive mindset. Sometimes I do have,
Right.
sometimes I do have my down days. Mental health and everything. But
Of
everyone
course.
has those.
Of course.
But I try to look things with a positive outlook, unless you're talking about Colin Griffith. But if you're talking about him, I
Yeah.
don't have a positive outlook on that. But because
I
I'm
was I'm
still,
just
I'm
I
still,
I hear you. Okay, well, I was just gonna ask you a positive outlook. So, like we'll get to Colin in a second because I know
yeah.
you're ready to explode on that one. All right, so we were watching Megan, and that was did you watch Megan? Did you watch the opening statements?
I did. I was trying to catch up with. I had so much going on. I had the feed for Colin going to keep
Yeah,
an eye on a verdict watch while
right.
doing the openings for Megan. So I
Yeah,
did miss a couple bits.
okay.
That case is horrible. It's very heartbreaking. I
Yeah,
hope there's justice for Evelyn,
yeah.
and but you got. I don't know. Are you guys up to date with what happened today?
Um, no, because we only did the morning. We stopped at lunch and we jumped over to the Monica Sementili, but we know what happened, meaning the judge said that the state opened up the door for that the boyfriend rolled over and squished poor Evelyn, and he has to now study 2 hours of video or whatever. But
Yeah.
before, okay, we can get back to that, but I wanted to bring in the mental health thing about being positive, and a lot of people in our chat were like, "I just can't deal with this. I got to take a break. I got to, because the
Mm,
state gave. Oh, actually, it was that the FBI or the TBI guy, the Tennessee Bureau of
yeah.
Investigation, that guy, and he was just, they were showing the pictures, and he was just going through step by step, and it's brutal, and I agree with that, and people in our chat were like, "I just can't deal with this." So how
Mm.
does that affect you watching these trials day in and day out? Do you take moments and get mental health breaks, or what do you do like when you're not watching trials?
Well, I try when, for example, courts end to
Mhm,
leave a court and believe like I believe in the American system, even though I'm in England. I believe
mhm,
that the jury knows best and they are gonna make the right decision. And I
mhm,
try to think it's gonna be okay. They're gonna get justice for the deceased person and then put the person in jail. And I try to uh, read. I try to watch other things to lighten up my mood. I try to unwind at least an hour before I have to go to bed, so I'm
mhm,
not like thinking about what I just heard and then having leading nightmares or anything and then having to have a bad night myself. I just try to get comfort somehow and talk about the stuff, and sometimes making doing trials we have chats about other stuff, about food, about whatever, and we try to, in a very respective way, during the trial we try to line up the mood by, for example, giving people nicknames, but nice nicknames, in
mhm,
terms of, like, for example, in the last trial in the Colin Griffith, the one of the attorneys looked like Han Solo because he was alone. He was
mhm,
alone by himself in a desk, so
mhm.
we called him Han Solo.
Yes.
And it's like, and then there was a guy blocking Colin. Very nicely, we called him Blockhead because he was blocking Colin, and we couldn't see. So it's
Yeah.
like trying to do little things like that to try to get chat, but obviously it has to be very carefully done because I still want to keep it respectful for everyone and for because you don't know what's ever going to happen. I mean, can be someone from court been watching your stream and you don't even know. So, and still, out
Mhm,
of respect for the deceased, I
mhm.
still want to keep things respectful in a way.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with you 100%. We have nicknames for judges, if you will, and
Mhm.
Superman, the Clark Kent. If I think it was Leilani Simon, the prosecutor, we called him Clark Kent. But I
Yeah.
agree with you, and I think OnlyFan says a lot. One of our moderators of like, you have to keep it light because we just
Yeah.
deal with so much heavy stuff. Like day in and day out. So a little bit of levity is needed, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Like on breaks, I try to like make jokes and do things. And for example, I say something very often. I say "oh my days" very often. That
Mhm.
now that we're keeping account of how many times I say it in the stream, "oh my days." If when something crazy happens, I even have a soundbite
Mhm.
that of "oh my days" to go in because when something. So it's just trying to keep a little bit light, but not too much. Having the right sorry, okay, just put it on my days on the chat and I'm just laughing. Um, just to keep a little bit light, but also being respectful at the same time.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. My attitude is that I know some streamers don't like to show certain trials, specifically with children. And I get
Yeah.
that. I get that. But my attitude, and you tell me what you think, my attitude is that I don't want to shy away from that. I think it's important to bear witness and to give these, especially, Evelyn, who's, 12, 13 months old, give her, and I think the state prosecutor said it great, where she's like, we're going to tell her story, because
Yeah.
if they don't tell it, then we're not going to
Who's
hear it. And if
gonna?
we don't stream it, then it's just, to me, she's going to die in vain, basically.
Yeah, exactly, and I 100% agree, 1,000%. Tend not to shy away. Obviously, there is cases that have a limit. For example,
Mhm.
I can remember one, Stephen Stern's the essay case. That
Mhm.
one I am not gonna even go near, and I can
Mhm.
tell right now because it's too much of a delicate case
Yeah.
to try to cover it. And in my opinion, I don't think I'm gonna go near that one. But any
Mhm.
other case, I don't really shy away, because what you can do is, on, well, the systems that most people use to stream, you can avoid showing certain pictures if you don't want to, and you just have the audio go through, and the chat
Mhm.
will understand. If they are following you, they will understand why you're doing that. But I
Mhm.
believe as well that is someone has to be the voice for those victims. They
Yeah.
cannot speak for themselves, sadly, so someone has
Mhm.
to protect their bring justice to them.
Yeah.
So, and if we don't do it, probably no one will, because if we all have that mindset. And but I do also understand the other side of it, of the streamers that don't want to stream those cases, and absolutely fair enough. You do you, boo. And it's like,
Mhm.
everyone does what is best for their channel
Mhm.
and for their own thing and for their own mental health. Even I even said to my chats, like, if you need to take away a moment from the case, go out for a walk, go
Mhm.
watch some like fail videos on YouTube to have a little bit of a light mood or anything.
Yeah.
Go, it's
Yeah.
okay. We're gonna be here. Just have a break. And even myself, I take comfort breaks um if I feel like it is too much. I take a comfort break and I step away a little bit from the screen. So
Yeah. 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 It's important. It's important. And the more I think about it, it's like a political. I won't do like a political. I won't
mm,
do a political stream. And we got the closest we got was with Abira, with Lincoln Riley, and things got a little heated, as expected.
yeah.
But you know what? Overall, and our hard stop is no politics and no religion. That's where we're like, if you bring it up,
That's my motto too. That's
right?
my two topics that I won't go near.
Yeah, and I think a lot of streamers do that. I think a lot of creators do that, because if they don't, it's just going to be a shit show, and people are
Yeah.
just going to be yelling at each other, and who wants that? So I
Oh
think
yeah.
both.
I was like, but hmm. I
But
covered the CNN defamation trial. I don't know if you were aware of that one that happened just a couple weeks ago. And I thought it was going to be a bit bad, but it actually wasn't. It was actually quite nice
mm,
to cover, and it was actually quite a good trial to cover. I was
mm.
definitely wrong on the verdict on that one yet again, but that's
Yeah,
I'm
what's your
often
record?
wrong.
What's your record on verdicts? are,
Oh,
are you?
my record on verdicts right now. I think I'm like 3-2-3-1. I had
Yeah.
one right, three wrong so far. So I
Yeah.
don't think I don't think they're gonna let me guess any more verdicts
Yeah.
because I
You-
get it wrong every single time. It's
That's
just
funny. Do you guys
hilarious.
do you do polls? Do you guys do you and your chat like polls?
I don't like polls myself, so I've kind of did a verdict game. So I have a Google form that I did, and
Mhm.
we play the verdict games. That you say if it is guilty or not guilty, and then how long. It's basically a poll, but a game out of it. And then
Yeah.
what I'm gonna what I'm doing is give a prize, a small prize to the winner, that wins. But my rules is you have to have obviously the verdict correctly, but the
Mhm.
deliberation can be a time frame because it's so hard to tell. Oh, it's going to be 1 hour and 2 minutes exactly. So they can
Mhm.
have a time frame, and then
Mhm.
whoever wins can kind of wins a prize out of it. So it's actually quite fun, and I feel it's a bit interactive. So
Nice.
yeah.
Do you want me to pull up some? Do you see anything you want me to pull up? Let's see. What do we got? Do we have
Oh, yeah.
questions?
Sorry, I'm just trying to reply on chat as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
trying to
Let's see. What do
multitask.
we? No, no, all good. Let's see. Do we have anything that's coming up in particular? Let's see. We got Haley Mouse is in the house. I didn't mean to rhyme that, Haley. That just came out. Sorry. Haley Mouse in the house. Let's see. K Wood. Let's see. Joe Schmo. We got Joe Schmo. K Swan. Good to see you guys.
Hey, K1, hello. What you doing?
So people are subbing over at your. Yep. People are, I think, jumping over. Hellcat is
Oh,
subbing as
thank
well.
you. Oh, you guys, thanks.
Look at that Fairfish,
I'm trying to.
he's got 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So let
man,
me
you
pull
guys,
this
thank
one
you
up.
very much. I
Oh,
appreciate you all.
you're welcome. Aaron, I'm
And
going to pull up.
sorry if.
No, no, no. It's all right. Ken Roseberg, I love this perspective.
Oh, thank
Instant sub.
you.
Yeah, cool. I just want to pull this one up. Therapist, that's a good and tough topic. Great suggestion. So, therapist, what was that specifically? Because I know I'm going back a little bit. So, that's a good and
I
tough
think it
topic.
might be the covering the trials that people don't want to cover, like the baby trials or like a lot to
Mhm.
political trials or anything. I think it might be that. I'm
Yeah,
just speculating. Oh,
sure,
that's
sure.
another thing I do a lot is speculate. Yeah,
Oh.
I'm in a speculation train.
All right, therapist, if you could attend one trial from the past, any trial at all, which would it
Ooh,
be? That's a good one. Which would
which
it be?
one? The first one that popped in my mind was Darrow Brooks. I
Mm,
wouldn't have being in a courtroom when he was
mhm.
having his antics and his outbursts.
Yeah.
I think probably would be very scary at the time, but then you could laugh about it like right now, because I was covering the trial during the Christmas break, and I was, because I've never seen it before, because I came into the true crime world of trials just after his trial.
Mhm.
So and I missed it, so I was watching, and yeah, that was something else.
Yeah.
That was definitely something.
He would be a good one. I would say the Manson family. I think that would have
Mm,
been really interesting because that was kind of one of the first ones where they were just freaks, right? And they were playing to the cameras, and nobody had seen anything like that before. And then I
yeah,
would say Jody. I would think Jody. I think that would have been an interesting one to go to as well.
yeah.
But Mr. Brooks would have been a good one too.
I mean, Brooks would be, and I think I was like Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp one. That was funny. That
Mhm,
one was absolutely right. The memes that came out of it from that
mhm.
one trial to this
Yeah,
day was absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
Casey Anthony would have been a good one. Lizzie Borden, the Salem witch trials. All right, Ken Rosenberg has a question. What sort of things did you learn when you started watching trials?
Mm.
Did you have any misconceptions about the system? Is it better or worse than what you expected? So, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's better than I was thinking, and it is a
Mhm,
lot more open than the English one and even the Portuguese one court system. Um, so I'm very glad about that.
mhm,
If I had any it's like I don't think I had, because to be fair, I've been how you say it? Oh my days, it's too late. I've been exposed to the U.S. court system for a very long time. Either TV shows,
mhm.
definitely it's very different about the TV shows. TV shows they embellish a little bit more, and I think too
Of
much.
course.
But because I've watched documentaries, like true crime documentaries, for a very very long time, I think
Mhm,
they would show a bit more of the reality of it.
mhm,
Um, but I learned about the differences
Mm,
between the US court system and the UK one. They are
mm,
very similar, but also very different at the same time.
mhm.
So
Sure.
I was just being like, for example, if you allow me, last week I had some time off from my day job. Um so I went to court in England,
Mhm,
and what was very interesting was the same thing that happened in the Natalie Cochran trial, where the
mhm,
jury got sent back to carry on jury duty,
mhm,
happens all the time in the UK. So I caught the end of a trial when I went to court,
mhm,
and when the jury was dismissing the jury, they said, you can talk about this trial, but your jury duty still has the rest of the week to go, so don't talk about the service. You can talk about the case. So
mhm.
that was actually quite interesting, and I was like, oh, that is different from America, because having that American perception, I went to the UK court to see the difference and see,
Right.
and actually what saw a sentencing. But yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting, and that kind of brings us to my next question: is what are some similarities and what are some differences, which you just kind of described? But what other, like what's another? I guess similarities would be the U.S. obviously comes from the British, courts. I think it's modeled on
Yeah.
that. But so what are okay? What in like your opinion, what's another similarity and or a difference that jumps out at you?
So for example, that you have to rise for the judge all the
Mhm.
time when the judge comes into courtroom, but in the UK, you have to bow to the judge. You have
Ah,
to do a small courtesy to the judge when he or she comes into court and is about to take, even if you like come in late, you have to stop at like after the entrance, bow to the judge, and then you can carry on. But what
mm,
was interesting was the younger generation does less than the older generation. That was one thing that I
okay.
noticed when I went to
Yeah.
court. So,
Yeah, that makes sense, and I think that's true in everything and anything. Younger generation's always trying to push the boundaries, and they're always trying
mm,
to destroy or break down what the older generation had established. So I know I went through it, and now I see what the younger generation's doing to my generation.
yeah,
And trying to break the rules, and because I did it too. I mean, we all do it. I think that's just part of growing up and figuring out what your boundaries are.
yeah,
So,
exactly. But I like the UK court systems, they are so implemented, and they're trying to change. There's a lot of new things, like for example, up until I think 2 years ago, they did not, like, it was a big hush hush, the court system. Now they are trying to open a little bit more. We can see sentencings
mhm,
online out of the UK courtroom. Obviously not the whole thing yet, but
mhm,
at least we get the sentences on it.
right,
But you only get the judge at this point. You only see the judge wearing those lovely wigs that they do. Everyone wears it. Lawyers, well, we call them solicitors
mhm.
here more often, but solicitors, lawyers, so they all wear this lovely, awesome looking wigs, I guess. Which
Right.
I don't understand why, but yeah.
Tradition,
Yeah,
right? Just tradition. Yeah.
it is a very traditional country, but
Yeah.
I think they are trying to open up a little bit more. But yet when I went to court and I said I was a content creator, they looked at me like I was like, "Mm."
Mm,
So it still has a long way to go, I think,
right.
the
But they
UK
knew
court
they knew
system.
what a content creator was at least, right? They had that
Yeah,
knowledge.
they knew
They
what
knew
it was, but I think, I don't know why they think it's like we are like the spawn of something that is like, or you say you are a YouTube or a content creator, you've in social media, people
mhm,
have a bad connotation to that for some reason. It's
mhm.
like, yes, social media has the bad side, but it also has the good side.
Of course.
So
Yeah. I think of it before I get to this therapist, has another question. It's to me, it's like a tool. I find that true in a lot of things. Like a hammer could be used to build a house, or it could be used to kill somebody. Social media, YouTube can be used to build you up and bring you information from around the world. Talk to people. Before YouTube, before social media, we would not be having this conversation.
yeah,
So it's all how you use it, right? It's positive, or it could be we could be yelling at each other, and tearing each other down,
yeah,
but instead we're building each other up. So
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
what I.
share knowledge and like build friendships all over the it's bringing people closer that like the same subject, true crime.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you bringing those people, because even people when they say, "Oh, what do you do for hobbies?" Because I'm very open about what I'm doing. I'm getting more comfortable in that. Like, yeah, I'm a content creator about true crime. When I
Mhm.
say to people that I cover analyzing trials on
Mhm.
YouTube, they look at me like I'm a weirdo.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
It's like, "Are
Yeah.
you okay?" I was
Yeah.
like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's something I like and I am comfortable with it, and
Mhm.
I respect other people's likings. And people think covering trials and covering and aliving trials is just something out of the outer space, and
Right.
only so it's just that conceptions
Yeah.
that people have about things. So
I
social
get.
media can be good.
Yeah. I get a lot. Not a lot, but sometimes it's like, oh, do you make money on that? I'm like, no, we don't do it to make money. We do it because it's a passion of ours. And yes, there are some
Exactly.
creators that are, obviously making money, but we are not one of them.
Yeah,
So
sadly, don't talk to me about that because I was very upset when that happened to you guys. I'm like,
I
it.
know.
I call it the YouTube purge
Yeah.
that happens every month. So it's
Mhm.
just like, it's like, but
Yep.
let's keep positive.
Exactly. All right, let's get to questions. Therapist, and then we'll get to
Okay.
Kay Wood has one as well. We'll get to you in a second, Kay. Okay, so therapist, if you could implement a rule one way, or I'm sorry, if you could implement a rule or way that another country does law into a U.S. legal system, which rule would it be and why?
Oh, that one is a thinker. I've actually been
Yeah.
thinking about that one since Squeegee put on the screen, because that is definitely a thinker. Which role?
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's too late for me
I
to think about. Let me think about this too. While you think about it, I'll think about it too. If you could implement a rule,
Well, it's too late slash too early. It's almost 2 a.m. here. I think I
I
need
know,
another
right?
coffee, but I think Nightbot. I called my other partner Nightbot, but I think he
Yeah.
fell asleep.
Aw.
um,
All right, another rule.
but
So another rule that another country does. Well, let's go with how two countries, right? Portugal and England. So what
in
what rules
England,
do they do that that the U.S.
hmm,
What rule
could
would it be?
implement. Yeah,
Could
and
be
why?
something as simple as bowing to the judge. I mean, I like that. That shows respect. The genuflecting that shows there's
Yeah,
extra
and
layer of respect.
yeah, I think in the UK it's mandatory to stand for the judge all the time, not just and for the jury as well. It's not
Mhm,
if you don't want, because everyone was standing all the time. I For the jury when they were coming in and out for that
mhm,
mini trial that I got caught.
mhm.
Um, I don't know.
Does
It's
the
just
UK
so
have?
different.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to get this out. Does the UK have like professional jurors, or is it like the lottery like we do here in the US?
It's like lottery.
It
Yeah,
is
you
like,
can
okay.
get summoned for. Yeah, I've
Okay.
never been, sadly. I'm hoping to be.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Okay.
what role? That one is a thinking therapist. Thank you
Yeah.
very much for making me think at 2 a.m. Appreciate
That's what she
it.
does. That's what our therapist does. She makes us think.
I guess I probably would go, yeah, maybe like you said, with the bow thing, because it shows
Mhm.
respect and making mandatory. I think in Portugal, I've only been in court in Portugal once,
Mhm.
and sadly it was for me, but I'm okay. Well, I'm
Mhm.
not in jail, so I'm okay. uh, so
Right,
I
right.
think maybe the bow and show more respect to the judge and to the
Mhm.
jury, because they are taking time out of their lives and money and
Mhm.
everything. They are losing money in a way sometimes to
Sure.
be there, and I think a show of respect should be mandatory, especially from the defendants and their teams and everything. Yeah.
Right. Now, how about here in the U.S. with the voir dires and experts, and it takes like sometimes days to qualify an expert. Does England do that as well? Does the UK do that, or do you just get up there and say, I'm a medical examiner and I've been doing this for 20 years. Boom, you're an expert. Or do they have to go through their whole
I
CV and
think
their whole history?
I think they have to go through. I haven't watched a live trial yet. Like, again, because if you want to watch a live trial, you have to go to court to watch it. And
Mhm.
it's not like in the UK. It's not like in the US. You can go to the court dockets and see all that information. It is very hard, or almost impossible, to get
Mhm.
a schedule for the court. So you just go with the lucky of the draw. If you go
Mhm.
choose just a random day at court, because there's not that much information. There is a way you can check the daily court lists, but it is very hard to find that information, and
Mhm.
it's not that
Mhm.
accessible, the information like there is in the US. Absolutely not. So
Yeah,
it is very hard to find when trials actually are. So it is hard to find that the like about the voir dire or anything. So, but
understood.
if that question, if you don't mind, if that question would be the other way around, something that I
Mhm.
would like from the US court system to being in the UK,
Sure.
definitely the transparency
Mhm.
of the court system. I love that the US, especially Florida, has that sunshine law that's like all the trials are televised, and I love
Mhm.
that fact. It's
Mhm.
the transparency. The public has the right to know what's going on in their area, all over the country, and everything, and it gives another insight to the legal system. And it's not
Mhm.
like a big, massive thing that's going to scare you when you have to go and deal with it. So people will
Right.
know, you have that knowledge.
I agree. I agree. Aaron just alerted me that you have 665 subs, so we're wondering who's going to give you 666. Who's going to be
Oh,
who's going to be Damien?
I know. I need that. I need to know because I need to take a screenshot of that six six
All right,
six.
guys,
Thank
one
you.
more.
Oh, wow.
Katya needs one more sub to get to 666. But all
Oh,
right,
that would be hilarious.
let's pull up K's. K Wood, how difficult or easy is it to do research for your coverage? That's a good question.
Well, if it
How do you
is
deal with that? Yeah.
US coverage, easy because I've got a little friend called the VPN. So it's very, very, it's quite easy because, again, that goes with the transparency we were just talking about.
Mhm.
That's they're very, oh, we've got it,
You got it.
666.
There you go. Woo!
Hey, thank you
We
guys. I'm
win.
taking a screenshot. Hey.
Who was it? Who just subbed? Who just subbed? Whoever just subbed,
Who-
tell us.
Joe, thank you.
Joe!
Oh,
Joe Schmo with 666. Oh, I love it. That's
nice.
funny.
Thank you,
That's
guys.
funny, you
Oh my
guys.
days. That is hilarious.
Good job, Joe. You will be haunted forever by Katya.
Yeah, it is a good number though. No worries.
That's awesome. All right, Joe.
But no, it's like, again, like the transparency within the US, you can find information very, very easily. But in the UK, it is very hard to find. So you have to dig even deeper and call. I normally, like, for example, for UK cases, I tend to call either the courthouse to see if they can give me any information, or to a social media, the newspaper or whatever there's reporting, to ask more questions about it.
Mhm.
So, but I love research. I do like to go deep and find things.
Mhm. I see therapist had another question about the transparency, as long as we were kind of talking about that. Why do you suppose there is a lack of transparency? What do you think about that?
I think it's tradition.
Yeah.
UK still sometimes in a little bit of very old ways of doing things, like back in the day,
Mhm.
and it is, we well, we are halfway a democracy. We still have a king, so it's still very all
Yeah.
very like royal and with that mindset, and they are still kind of private, and they don't like to share too much. So I think it's that still that mindset, but
Mhm.
they are trying to be a little bit more um open and everything. So I think
Right.
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's why. I don't know. Again,
Are you
speculating. Don't quote
sure?
me.
Sure. Yeah. Are you familiar with Karen Cole, Illegal Minded Friends? Karen Cole.
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been chatting about, and there's like
Okay.
a lot of the support that I have in terms of about the UK cases. It actually came from her because I
Mhm.
found her when she came on your, well, on your
Okay.
show,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Because we were talking about that as well, like what the transparency and why the
Mm.
U.S. has it, and actually nobody else does it. No other country streams trials. or do
Actually,
they?
sorry to prove you wrong
Yeah,
on
please.
your show, but
It's not going to be the first
Brazil
time.
does it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Brazil does it as well, because I was the other day I was searching a few things and I came across quite a few judges from Brazil. They stream, like, like OJ Simpson. Oh my days. The Judge Simpson and
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
Stephanie Boyd and everything. They do that a lot as well. And I
Okay.
saw a trial the other day as well being televised from Brazil.
No shit. All right. I that could be a sub stack of of Trial TV Live. It could do Brazilian
The
Brazilian,
Brazilian version. I do speak Portuguese. Well, I should speak Portuguese because I'm Portuguese, but
right?
don't quote me on that.
All right. Let's see. We got let's see. Ken Rosenberg, who is one of our uh, chatters, that is a lawyer himself. So, question: is there a lot of interest in U.S. cases over there? We talked about the sort of explosion in legal content on YouTube. Did folks in the UK get swept up in it as well?
There is, if the case is big enough, there is a big case. But obviously, like for example, again, I'm sorry to use him, but for example, if I talk about Colin Griffith or
Mhm.
Megan Boswell, people won't know. But if I talk about Karen Reed, Brian Koberg, the
Mhm.
Delphi, um, Lori Vallow Daybell, and Chad Daybell, if I said like the big, massive names, people would know, but the
Okay.
small little ones people won't know as much. But there
Okay.
is an interest. And then actually where I used to work, because just changed shops, I work for a supermarket, so I just changed branches. The one that I
Mhm.
was at before, there was actually a gentleman that he loved true crime as well. He loves true crime as well, and you watched
Mhm.
all US trials and everything. So you
Mhm.
do find the little odd ones that have
Mhm.
that same kind of um not knowledge about the cases and likeness
Mhm.
about it. So
Sure.
there was a bit, but not as much with the small cases, but the big
Okay.
cases, yes.
I would assume Johnny Depp, because he was on trial over there. I would assume probably people. I'm sure if you mentioned
Yeah.
Depp Heard, people would probably be like, "Oh yeah, you know."
Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
know exactly. That's another example for
Yeah.
and I think some people know as well about Darrow Brooks, but not as
Mhm.
many as like Brian Kohlberg and Carrie Reed and those sorts of cases, the
Gotcha.
big
A
cases.
really big
But
one.
if you
Sarah
ask him
Boone.
who
Sarah Boone.
Sarah Boone, she has made her way through the UK system, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
in into the UK streets, talking
Yeah.
about, but where does she doesn't go because she's still everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she's still. I see content creators, still doing things, and they're getting 10,000 views. I mean, she is the gift that
She's
just keeps
still,
giving.
yeah.
All right, I want to pull
She
this
oh
one up. This is funny from Nanar. $66.06 once came up on the register when I was buying something, and the cashier didn't want to finish the transaction due to bad luck. That's funny.
yeah, cashiers have that. Some one time I did sell a bag to someone, a 10p bag, just not to be 666. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand. I
right.
completely understand that.
That's
It's
funny.
for me. I don't really matter the 666. It's just a number to me. But it's funny the connection that some people have, and it's like I'm
Of
fine
course.
with it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ken, this is a good point about it. I think it might have been a post-COVID thing for them too. That might be a point because
yeah.
when was Johnny? That was 2000. Was that 22? Was that 2 years? 3 years now, right?
3 years now. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was 2022. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, what were we doing? What were you doing during COVID? Were you guys were locked down, obviously. We were all locked down. What were you doing?
Well, what was I doing during COVID? I was working,
Did
and
you
I
really?
guess again working.
Oh
I
my.
worked throughout because I worked in a supermarket. Sorry, my lights just dimmed for some reason.
Uh-oh.
Give me one
Oh,
second. I
we were
need to
talking
get.
about 666. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I
there.
know. I think it was my nightbot that is trying.
Okay.
um. So
Gotta get control of that
I
night
think I
bot.
worked.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You were
That's all
working.
right. It's just because we like short story about Nightbot. It's just we because he didn't want to give his like real name on the internet. He's a bit scared about. So we came up with that he's a moderator for my channel, and he
Mhm,
does the night shifts because I have to go to bed about 4 p.m. Eastern
mhm,
because I have to be awake at very early for me at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work for 5 a.m. So he
Right.
normally finishes the streams for me. So that's why we
Mhm.
started calling him the Nightbot, because he only does the night shifts when I
Gotcha.
can't stream. He jumps and streams for me.
I
So he
love it.
helps me that way. So
Yeah,
we
that's
call him
great.
Nightbot.
That's a great
So
story. I love that.
yeah, so I was talking about the like. Sorry, I go off to tangents so much. So
Okay,
if I
no worries. That's
just
fine. That's
reel me
fine.
back in.
Okay. We were just talking, I think, COVID, what you were working.
Yeah, I work because I worked in a supermarket. I've been working in this supermarket for almost 10 years. So
Mhm.
since basically I got to England. So I was working throughout, but and I never got COVID while I was working. I had
Wow.
a year break, so I
Mhm.
quit the supermarket because after COVID and after the stockpiling mess that it was, I said
Mhm.
I need a break from retail. So I took a
Mhm.
break and I went to work in a care home for a bit because I had the
Mhm.
experience. I got COVID on the third day that I started
Yeah.
working on the
Yeah.
on the care home. I was
Mhm.
like, so was, and this was like a year in of COVID. This was in 2021 that I was work.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, so I've passed through the big massive thing of the pandemic, and 3 days in
Mhm.
into a care home, I get COVID.
Mhm.
Great,
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
just a couple of weeks ago, I got COVID again.
Oh no.
Um,
Ugh.
so it was a horrible experience again to go through. No,
Mm.
it
Yeah.
was not good.
We made it through because we didn't, we weren't going out, and we were lucky enough. We had
Mm.
a online, business anyways, and Aaron and I were like, lockdown. That's perfect. We didn't want to go out and see anybody anyway, So
Exactly, and it was not really a change. It was like lockdown. What's that? It's same as
yeah.
normal.
Right, right. Yeah. So okay, so we survived. We made it all through, all that stuff. And then I went to go see my family, because my family, like in 21, 22, they're like, come visit, come visit.
Mm.
I'm like, no, no, I still don't want to travel. I'm still being safe and cautious. And then was it last year? No, it was 2 years ago. I went. My nephew had passed away, so they were doing. My sister
Oh,
was doing
sorry.
thank you, a memorial for him. So we all got together, and there was this coughing on the airports. I was traveling through major airports, and this woman sitting
Oh.
next to me was coughing and hacking, and then some family members were coughing and hacking. And I left on a Monday morning, and I felt terrible. I felt so horrible, just miserable, like the worst I've ever felt. And I came home, and I tested, and I had it. And Erin's birthday was like, I got home like on a Monday. Her birthday was Wednesday, and she got sick, I think Wednesday or Thursday. So my birthday
Oh,
gift to
that
her.
was such a lovely gift for
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah. So there you
So
go.
thoughtful of you. You brought COVID.
I brought
Nice.
the COVID, honey. Yeah, love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
I
the one
know.
and only time. It's the one and only time we've
I
had it.
hope
So,
you guys fully recovered and you know not feeling any like leftovers of it, because there's some people that still years
yeah,
after still are having complications from it and everything.
I,
So
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, like what's that, long-term effects, long-term COVID, all that stuff. I don't know, to be quite honest. I feel pretty good. I don't feel any residuals, so I think I feel pretty good.
that's
But
good.
it's like I'm ignorant. I don't know if I'm not feeling well or not. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel
Yeah.
good, but there could be something going on. It could be a ticking time bomb. I don't know. you know?
Anyone could, sadly, you never know. It's one of
Yeah,
those things. We all could be taking sadly
yeah.
to go bye bye. You just have to be alive. Sorry, I say bye bye because some words on the YouTube are very peculiar. So it's
I
just
know.
yeah.
I know. I hear you. I hear you. All right, Ken. We got a question from Ken. Oh wait, let me get to
Ooh.
OnlyFan, because he's. I love lockdowns. I teach my boxers lying down from home.
Well, I
Nice.
am not gonna lie. Well, I have my work uniform already, and then because I have to go to work in a second,
Um,
not in a second, literal second, in a few hours.
in a
But
little
I
bit,
just
yeah.
got ready.
So, not
Yeah.
to take us off of this, but OnlyFan, you're a drummer. You teach drumming. How do you teach drumming lying down? Yeah, I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah, I would be.
We'll get back to that.
I want to know because I might need a tutorial because
Yeah,
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 drumming lying down. It's
yeah. Poor Aaron.
uh
She got
I'm
sick
so sorry, Irene.
on her birthday.
It's yeah, it's lovely when your partners give you colds for as
I
a
know.
gift, isn't it?
I
To
know.
be fair, I think I was the one that gave COVID this last time to Nightbot.
Nightbot.
So
Yeah, it
like he was
sucked.
taking care of me and me like, here you go, you have COVID now. So
Was it before we get to Ken's question, was it the second time, was it better? Not better. Was it worse? And I hate to say better. How did it compare to the first time?
I think it was exactly the same. I
Yeah.
know it was COVID because I had exactly the same symptoms that I had
Mhm.
when I first got it. So and then we tested and then it came up positive. But I was like literally like, oh, this is COVID because
Yeah.
we were so unwell.
Yeah.
And then it's very rare for Nightbot to get sick. It's like this. He literally had COVID for the first time in 2025.
Oh, wow.
5 years he went to almost
Yeah.
without
Wow.
COVID. So yeah, and it was his first time, and he very
Yeah.
rarely gets sick. So and then I was like, when he started to get sick, I was like, this is not just a cold, this is something else. So then
Mhm.
again, I was like, yeah, these symptoms are the same that I had when I had COVID back in
Mhm.
21. So yeah,
Mhm.
then we tested, and this like that bright red light just came up straight away, like bing,
Yeah. Yay.
yay.
All right. Ken says selfish and probably bad question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. From all the
It's never
trials
bad
you've
question.
right, from all the well, from Ken, you never know. From all the trials you've watched, what what do you think lawyers could do better? What's your most frequent complaint? What sort of styles resonate with you? That's a great question. So, okay, to piggyback on that, who are your favorite prosecutors and or defense team? Like, what name a couple that you like, lawyer wise?
Oh, I don't.
And then that sort of goes into the style, I would think. If you like them, you like their style.
You go. The one thing that I like, for example, as soon as I saw that question, sorry, it came up. It was the sometimes defense attorneys, and I know they are doing a job, and I
Hmm.
know they have to um protect their client and say that their client is innocent and everything. But victim blaming, no.
Hmm.
I absolutely don't like and hate when defense attorneys or witnesses or anything start victim blaming, saying that the
Yeah.
victim was this and that and everything. And I agree, no, but like no one is perfect, right? But
Hmm.
come on, that person it can't defend themselves. They cannot
Right.
come and speak for themselves and defend for themselves and say, oh no, actually things the only thing these people talking on behalf of them, and they probably don't know everything. And like again, I'm not wanting to bring that case again, but that happened in the Colin case. The
Hmm.
grandma's testimony, I mean, your daughter was just unalived, right? And she was talking so bad about her. She did not
Yeah.
almost say one good thing about her.
Wow.
And then the defense attorney in the closings was like a show to blame the victim. And it's like, I'm not saying the victims are perfect. They're not.
Mhm.
No one is. If you
Mhm.
show me who a perfect person, please show me because I haven't found one. But
No. Yeah.
victim blaming is never okay.
Mhm.
Never.
Yeah.
And I hate when defense attorneys or anyone does that. And he grinds my gears. It's one of the things that I can't deal is victim blaming or anything
Mhm.
because they are the victim. I mean, they should have a pass to anything because they're not here anymore and you are.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. I can go on a run by that.
No, that's brilliant. That's great. And let's get into Colin Griffith. Let's talk about that. We've been skirting around the issue the whole time. We were going to cover it, but then I thought it was going to start like a couple Mondays ago, and then it ended up it was like a pre-trial. So then we jumped on another trial, and then he ended up coming on a Wednesday. So we just sort of missed it. So what happened? What's your
Yeah.
take on it?
I think the kid can write a book entitled "How to Get Away with Unaliving Twice," and
Yeah.
he's going to be a bestseller because I cannot. I'm still okay. It is not guilty. The verdict has came through. I am trying to make my peace with it, but I don't think he's guilty. He unalived both parents in the
Hmm.
space of a year, 2 years, a year and a
Hmm.
half, and he
Yeah.
got away with it.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely shocking how like again, I know the mom wasn't perfect. She had a lot of bad traits, but who doesn't? Who is
Yeah.
perfect? And to be
Right.
fair, after, and because there was a situation and people got very angry because she had cameras inside of the house, right? She
Hmm.
had one in the living room, one in the kitchen, one in her bedroom, and one in his bedroom.
Okay.
And people were very angry about that. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, but I would have it too. If I had a kid coming living with me, my son living with me after he unalived his dad a few months ago, and I was stuck with that, I would be scared too. I would
Mm.
put a camera there too because I would be not sleeping, or if my phone would go off with emotion, I would be wide awake because I
Mm.
would not trust that kid to be around people,
Hmm.
even if you do it in self-defense, because I still don't think neither was self-defense, because the
Hmm.
way that, because this was a trial that we could not see the evidence. We
Hmm.
only saw, we heard the description of the evidence, and we heard the audio coming from the ring cameras and everything.
Hmm.
So we only have that. But the way the medical examiner described the the wound in the neck of Kathy, that was the Collins mom,
Hmm.
it was not self-defense. But I don't know
Hmm.
how the jury got to not guilty. That's going to be something to amaze me for the rest of my life. I
Wow.
think it's going to be the shock of the year. The year
Hmm.
just started and it's the shock of the year so far.
Already, yeah. She was stabbed a couple times in the neck, right? Or what? How many
No,
times?
once. I
What
think it
did?
was just once did the deed.
Oh, okay. I thought like there was one in the front, one in the back, but no, it's just one time he got her.
No,
Just,
just the
just
one
one
time, I
time.
believe. Yeah.
Because I
So
thought
it
like
was.
she fell on the knife. Wasn't that like his defense or something that she fell on it or
Yeah,
something? Yeah.
he said she fell on the knife, but the way that they describe, the knife would have to be like that on the floor with the stabby part on here. It has
Yeah.
to stand like that for the way.
Yeah.
Knives don't stand like that on the floor, and then you fall into it.
Right. Right. So they
So
honestly said that was an honest statement. They said that she fell on it versus she was coming at me and I tried to. So he honestly said that was his
yeah,
defense. He fell on it. Wow.
that was his defense before the trial. That's what he said. It happened, and that's what
Wow.
he said on the 911 call that he didn't even hear about, because when they played the 911 call, he asked to get out of court because he didn't want to. He waived his right to listen to the 911 call, which I don't agree. He should have
Wow.
sat through it.
Wow. So he left. He
That's
wasn't
one
even.
thing that I don't agree is,
Wow.
you are the defendant or anything in the case. If you like, you need to see through
Mhm.
all the evidence, come to the verdict, come to the sentencing, not chicken
Mhm.
out. If you did the crime, you do the time. So
Mhm.
it's just yeah.
Somebody else did that too. Somebody else was it Lori? Did Lori Vallow ask to not hear something and she has to be let out or something? I can't.
I don't know. I was like, oh, she's now, that's another one that she's coming again around again.
Yeah. So Aaron says yes with the kid. Yeah, it was Lori. Lori asked to not be in there for a certain part of testimony, and
Mm,
the judge is like, nope. Yeah, she has to leave the room. Aaron's confirming it. Yeah, it's yeah.
yeah, but
Right. The
it's just like,
audacity.
no, I'm sorry.
Right.
You
Right.
just
The
stay
audacity
there
to
and listen
say,
to everything.
yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. The
No, no, you
audacity.
go. Sorry.
The audacity. I'm saying the audacity of these defendants, right? To say, "Oh, I don't want to be a part of it," but you did it, or well, we're
Well,
assuming
allegedly,
anyway.
yeah.
Allegedly, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, but still, I mean, especially after, I think they changed that after, I think was Adam Montgomery. That
Hmm.
was another a very sad case, that he waived to appear throughout the whole trial, and
Hmm.
then he got convicted, and I think the judge made him coming to the sentencing,
Hmm.
because I think you should face the consequences of your actions, especially at sentencings and everything. You should hear the victims
Hmm.
talking about what you did and how you made them feel. And that's another, oh my days, that was another thing from the Nathalie Cochran trial. I hated what Victor and the other attorney were doing of not wanting Michael's picture
Yeah.
shown and saying, this is not about Michael. Excuse me, this is not,
Yeah.
is this, and he was like, this is about Natalie. It's like, no, it is not. This is
Hmm.
about Michael. It's
Yeah.
Natalie had her time.
Yeah.
Natalie had the trial, so now this, oh, I
Yeah. There were so many
Victor
things that
got
were
me.
wrong with Victor. Yeah, Mr. Victor, Mr. Selden. One thing that really upset me about them is that for their half, the kids got up and they did what they did. But then when the mother of Michael gets up there and she starts going on, and they're like, objection, objection, objection. It's like your side got up and
Very
they
rude.
cried and they were just carrying on, and that was loud. But then as soon as I thought that was really poor taste on
I, I,
Victor's.
I I think that was very wrong of them, and it's like they did their job. I know they're doing their job and everything, but still, there's courtroom decorum and respect as well still to be shown.
Yeah,
But do you want to know the nickname that my chat gave to Victor?
of course, of course.
It's the Timu version of Danny DeVito.
Nice.
So that one is gonna stay for all eternity.
That's
So
a good one.
it's just,
That,
yeah, to
that's a
make
good
a
one.
little bit.
We had
Yeah.
Eric Lieber. He came in and he's like, he said, if Chris Farley and Bela Lugosi had a baby, that would be Mr. Victor. So, all right. So let's see,
Oh,
Ken.
that's hilarious.
Ken, let's see. Talk about the Griffith brings up the reality that juries are effing wild. Chris, I touched
Hmm.
upon it. I touched on this a bit earlier, but do you think professional jurors would be better?
N- Not really. I don't think because then you would feel that you're buying a verdict, and I think a
Yeah,
verdict has to be from the evidence and not from any money side of things. Because
yeah,
I would feels like, oh, which I would be wondering, which if they are paying me, I wonder which verdict do they have, because I don't think I would be listening to the evidence as much. I would be thinking that. So I don't
mhm,
think agree. I don't think professional jurors would be better. And then the
mhm,
thing is, how could you get impartiality from the jurors? Because the jury is composed of many different. If you are a professional juror, you do that for life. You know the ins and outs of things, and sometimes
yeah,
it's good to have people that are clueless about things and try
mhm,
to come up to a decision. So I don't think professional jurors would be
yeah.
a way
I'm
to
a-
go.
I'm actually surprised at how serious people take it because I've been on, let's see, I've been on two juries. One is civil,
Ooh.
one is criminal. I've been called. I was just recently called last year. I think it was last year. I wasn't called. I actually went into the voir dire and I was, we were asked questions. That's happened to me twice. So I think I've been called like 5 times, served twice, and the other times have been let go. But
Mm.
going into it, and back in the day when I was playing music, and I'm like, the last thing I want to do is serve on a jury. Whenever I got the summons, I'd always say, no, I can't do it. I can't do it for hardship. All this stuff. And I always thought, oh, if I ever do get called, I'm gonna go in there and say, oh, this and that, and I don't believe in the system, and just basically be a punk. And but then once
Yeah.
but once you get there, you're like, at least for me, I'm like, whoa, this is serious, And I have seen some people try to be punks and try to get out of it, and man, the lawyers and the judges smack them down, and it's pretty. People, I think,
Yeah.
people sober up, right? People sober up. Have you ever been called? Have you ever been called or served?
Sadly, no.
No.
I've been wanting to go, but talking
Yeah.
about your experience, like obviously now, if you tell them that you cover analyzing trials on the internet, they're not gonna like you anymore on the jury, probably not. But
No.
do you do you normally talk about your experience as a jury, or is something that you don't want to talk about and you don't want to? I'm just curious. Sorry,
Oh,
you sparked my curiosity.
yeah. No, no, no. You mean back when I served, or when I got called?
Yeah.
Well, back when I served,
Either. All of.
yeah. Well, when I served, that was when I was in New York, and I wasn't really into true crime at that time. So it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't follow true crime back then. Because I was heavily into music.
Yeah.
It was all about music.
Yeah.
Um, but you just talk about anything and everything. You talk about the weather. You talk about sports. You talk about your what we're talking about. Basically, like our not obviously not trials, but we talk about um, your profession or your kids. You literally get to know these people, especially if you spend, like, I think one was a week. Yeah, I think they were both about a week. And
Mm.
you spend that time with them and you really get to know them. And then there's this letdown afterwards. Like, there's really this letdown. Like, I experienced it with Sarah Boone. when Sarah was over, there was a letdown. It's like I was like, oh, and Aaron and I, we both experienced this. We're like, meh.
Yeah.
It's like
What
what?
now?
Yeah, there was this serious emotional, mental, physical letdown. And
Yeah.
it's really interesting. It's an interesting. You might feel that, right, when you're done with a trial, like something that you've given 2 or 3 weeks to. Do you feel? You
Yeah,
feel
I do.
like
Well, I'm
yeah,
feeling like that with Colin. I'm still not over it. So I'm
yeah,
still like, what now? How can I move on from this? And
right.
what do I do with these feelings that I haven't resolved for this case? And yeah,
Right.
I completely see. But I have got a question for you then. So
Sure.
now, knowing what you know today about
Mhm,
the law and true crime and everything, would
mhm.
you change? You don't need to tell me the verdict or anything, but would you change the verdict or how you saw the case that you were a jury on?
Um, no, the one was the civil one. We felt terrible because this poor guy, his story was he got shot in the eye with a paperclip when he was a kid, right? So he
Mm,
had problems from a kid. He didn't lose his sight, but he had problems, right? So he went on to become like a print. He was like he was working at a print house, right? So he was checking galleys and stuff like that. So he needed his eyes. So he went through this series of operations, and one of the
mm,
operations was this doctor who installed a contact, a permanent contact in his eye, right?
yeah.
So what the doctor didn't tell him is that there was a piece that broke off, and he told this guy, "You have to come back." And he didn't tell him why he had to come back, and he did the surgery and he removed that piece that had broken off. So once this guy found out about that, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to sue you," all this stuff. So
Yeah.
we as a jury felt terrible for this guy. We're like, "Oh my God, yes, give this guy $10 million. This doctor is a scumbag. He didn't tell this guy anything." But the way the law was written, the way the jury instructions were written, was that we couldn't give this guy a single dime because it was proven in the trial that he still had his eyesight. He still was working.
Yeah.
He didn't lose his eyesight. He didn't. The doctor did give him a better, improved eyesight. But we felt terrible for
Oh,
him because, right? We felt so terrible. We're like, oh, can't we give him like ten
yeah.
dollars? Just give him something, because this doctor was a scumbag. He didn't tell him that this piece was
Like,
left in his eye.
absolutely agree. Yeah.
Right? So would I have changed mine? No, I still felt the same way. And everybody to a person was like, oh my God, what can we do? What can we do? But it was the way the jury instructions were written. And I have a feeling now,
Mm,
having that experience and going through and listening to the jury instructions now, I'm like, oh my God, these people probably want to like do the same. Like they feel terrible that something happened, but the way the
mm.
jury instructions are written, sometimes your hands are tied. You just can't,
Yeah. And as like, and I understand, and that's why probably sometimes they do take as long as they take on verdict watch on deliberation. And it's like, I know I get impatient when they take a long time. Like for example, Colin, they took 9 hours or 11 hours or how long it
Yeah, I was going to
was over
ask you
two
that.
days.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Um, and as like I got impatient, but I understand they are literally choosing uh, someone else's life. It's not just a case of, like some cases are blank. Like Sarah Byrne was literally written down that she was guilty, and there was not like that was not self-defense. But they might have seen, for example, the Colin case, that it's not that simple, and they had to take the time, and I'm glad they do take the time, and it's not like they go with their gut feeling and everything. They do. Juries in US, they do seem like they take the time to actually ponder all the evidence and talk about it
Mhm.
and everything. It's not like split splash push is done and
Right.
let's carry on with our lives because it doesn't affect them, but they do take that into consideration, and I think it's good,
Right.
and that's why I like normal normal people jury and not professional jury, because
Mhm.
then as a professional jury you would see that as like, oh, I need to finish this one so we can carry on that one. They don't have
Mhm.
that time constriction. They can take as long as time as they can. So
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, look at Karen Reed. That was like two or three
Mm.
jurors have come out afterwards and saying, no, we didn't want to vote that way, but we had to vote that way, or we think she was innocent. That was a fiasco. But
Oh, that was I mean, and it's because I think sometimes it's the way that the jury instructions are done and the verdict form is done as well. Sometimes
100%.
it's not like self-explanatory, and they have
Mhm.
questions, and that's why they do keep coming back sometimes in some trials and
Mhm.
asking questions about it. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron says, yeah, it was 4 or 5 jurors and it was Bev that confused them. Yeah. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
We'll
So
see now
Ken,
what's gonna happen on the new one.
oh, I don't know. That's going to be, we'll cover it, but that's going to be a disaster as well. Are you guys going to cover it? Are you going to?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
that's the thing. I don't really have an interest on Karen Reed.
Hmm.
To be fair, like I've watched the first one, and
Hmm.
I don't think I'm gonna cover the second one. I prefer like
Hmm.
little trials that
Hmm.
there's not a lot of knowledge about, because Karen Reed can attract a lot of
Hmm.
unwanted guests, I guess. So it's
I hear
wild.
you. I hear you 100%. We're kind of like that with Kohlberger. We're kind of on the fence. Like, do we do Kohlberger or not?
Mm,
Because that's like a,
that is a completely no for me.
yeah. All right.
That is well,
All
I'm
right.
gonna follow it.
We'll fist
I'm
bump you.
probably gonna watch one of the creators, but
Yeah.
I, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna follow. First of all, it's too long. It's like what, 4 months trial?
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Time difference for me, it's absolutely chaotic, and
Hmm.
then it is way too big, and it's the troll amount. It's gonna be absolutely insane. So those
Yeah.
three factors, yeah, Coburg is not for me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can watch it. I want to watch it, but I'm
Hmm.
not gonna stream it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree. We like the smaller trials too, the smaller, lesser known ones. And we seem to
Mm.
get people that appreciate that too, because if you have like 10 content creators streaming the same trial, you know, you're just,
Yeah,
yeah.
it gets a bit, exactly, gets a bit boring. So I do like for example, I did one last year. I think it was Ronda Jewel, the 3 day trial. I like
Hmm.
covering small little trial that there's not a lot of knowledge. If you would
Hmm.
see my subscriptions, because
Hmm.
I have two accounts. I have my personal YouTube account that I used to watch random stuff, and then I
Hmm.
have my content creator one. If you would say, oh, see you later. Okay, sorry. So I have my content creator subscription. Is like all news stations almost all over the eastern side of England,
Hmm.
and then all news stations, all the law and crimes and all of that stuff. So it's just, and I'm always looking for the little trials that there's not a lot of interest on, because
Hmm.
they deserve justice too. They deserve to be talked about too, not just the big cases. Like
Hmm. I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100% with that. All right, let's see. Ken, let's see. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Right, Ken. Okay, do juries in the UK have access to any public resources for counseling or therapy after serving on a jury? And that came up
I
because of the Megan
mm,
Boswell, because they had just
yeah.
shown they just shown Megan, or I'm sorry, Evelyn getting picked up, and then they go to lunch. I mean,
Yeah,
oh my God, those poor people. So yeah, what do you think?
those pictures would haunt
Yeah,
me, and I am glad they did not show. Like, I was literally on the button that you can put an
yeah,
overlay or something on StreamYard, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
was literally clicking on that button as fast as I could, because I don't want to
Mhm,
see it. I don't want to put people that are in chat to that as well, and I don't want my channel to go bye bye. So as
right,
well. So
right.
it's just, but I feel so sorry sometimes for juries. They have to see things that
Mhm,
you would not wish on your worst enemy, and it sometimes can be hard. And I think UK has supports like that. Obviously, I never served on the jury, so I don't know. I only
mhm,
saw one jury instruction in my court career, if you want to call it that way. But I'm sure that they have, because
yeah,
UK can be pretty wild with their cases and everything. I mean, we have one case right now that is just absolutely shocking. That is, she got
mm,
sentenced and she's trying to appeal, and the panel literally just said that it couldn't have been natural causes. I don't know if you
mm.
have heard about Lucy Letby.
I haven't, but actually, a therapist put that in. She asked earlier about, do you know that case? Okay, so I have not heard
Oh,
about
I
that.
know. Yes,
Tell
it's been
what's it
all over.
about? Yeah,
And
what's it about?
what they just came out with, the panel that she had for her appeal,
Mhm,
it's absolutely ridiculous, and
mhm,
just no.
mhm.
uh, yeah,
So that's a
that's
current
it's
it's
awful.
current
It's an awful case.
okay, it's a current trial, I guess, right?
No, she already got sentenced, and
Oh,
she's appealing.
oh,
She
okay.
got fifth. Well, we call it whole life orders, but she got 15 life sentences. So,
Geez.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
wow. Alright, I'll have to
it
look into that.
was.
Yeah, we'll look into that one.
Yeah, it is
Let's see.
pretty wild case.
Alright, okay, I guess Kay is saying goodbye.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I
Okay,
think
oh,
it might be late. I
alright.
don't know what time is
Aw,
it there, so I've got
Kay
no clue
says
about time differences at the moment.
I know. Alright, Kay, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your, support. Let's see,
Yeah.
we have, let's see if we have any other questions, but we will
Yeah, she's Ailey, yeah, Ailey Ma. She's the nurse accused of taking a life of 7 babies in ICU in the neonatal
oh,
section. She basically was injecting air bubbles in the IV.
oh, man.
She's not accused anymore. She is convicted. Thank you, therapist.
Yeah,
Definitely, she is a convicted of it. She's trying to appeal the
mm,
case, but yeah, it's just a
wow,
shocking, horrible case.
wow.
Yeah,
And when did this happen?
absolutely.
Was it like, the last couple
Was it like a
years?
year ago?
Oh, okay. So she was doing
Uh,
it a year ago or the trial was a year ago?
no, the trial was about a year ago, but she
Mm,
did over the course of a couple months. Yeah,
okay,
it was
geez.
like the Angel of Mercy. She was,
Yeah,
I think, kind of like that.
okay.
Saying, and then now a panel came out saying that the babies died out of natural causes
Mhm,
and of bad medical care. Yes, they're
mhm.
nurse, but air bubbles in there. Oh, that's very bad medical care. People. Oh, it's
Yeah,
just that
yeah.
was outrageous. She's absolutely a monster
She is
therapist.
a
I
monster, yeah.
100% agree.
Wow,
So,
yeah.
and yeah, and there's other big cases. I mean, I just went for sentencing of a guy that was in my area that
Mhm,
he had two American XL bullies that
mhm,
unalived someone by mauling, and he got convicted to prison for it. He only got 3 years, but yeah,
mm, hmm.
but it was just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, Aaron says other nurses in the US used insulin. Well,
Oh
I guess we
wow.
could say
Ugh.
Natalie Cochran. Yeah,
Exactly. Natalie Cochran we use insulin too.
right, right. Oh, here, Ken. I'm really sorry I might have missed this, but I'd love to know more about Katya's efforts to get increased public exposure to UK trials and what's next in that mission. What do you think about that?
Well, that's actually quite interesting. I do want to to show more transparency, and I'm actually working with a court right now in Northern Ireland about a
Mhm,
trial that is coming up there. That it's going to be a good one, and it's going to be, I'm sure, a very popular one. Um, and I'm trying to work with the court to get access to the hearings,
mhm,
either virtually or make the trip there because it's about 6 hours away from me, so I might take the trip and take there, and then obviously but the thing is, in the UK, as a public, you cannot take notes during the
mhm,
trial, but if you are
mhm.
part of the media, you can. But
Okay.
another thing is social media or content creators, we cannot just get a media pass just like that. It is very hard to get a media pass
Mhm,
or considered as media.
mhm,
So we either have to be affiliated with a newspaper or it is super hard to get it. I've been trying to look into it. It is a lot of work. So I've been
mhm,
trying to talk to the courts right now to get access to the hearing as a content creator. I literally had to show them my YouTube channel. What do I
mhm.
do? What do I talk about? And
Yep.
now is literally in the judge's hands right now
Mhm,
to make a decision about if I can have access or not to that
mhm,
hearing, and if I can live streaming or not, because I might have access to it and not being able live streaming, but I can do videos on it,
mhm,
and or I can live stream, but that's just on hold because that is going to be a big case out of
mhm.
Northern Ireland, and I really want to um be into it and wanting to know how it comes, because yeah.
Can you go to it and then do like with the Delphi case? A lot of people did that. They went to it, but then they did recaps afterwards and during the breaks.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning. If they don't allow me
Yeah.
to be a virtual hearing, I
Hmm.
want to go in person, but then again, I can't take notes throughout the
Hmm.
trial, so I'm gonna have to
Oh,
remember everything. So that
yeah,
might be a bit
that's tough.
harder.
Yeah,
So I need to see if I can work on on the fact of getting a media pass, but that might be a bit hard as an
yeah,
independent. I could have gone as a freelancer, but they still need a proof from an editor from an article you have written, so it is
right.
quite hard to do it. But I really want to try to get the UK more transparency as
Hmm.
well, because I think it's only fair, us
Hmm.
as people, and living in the country, having that transparency and that knowledge be public, not
Sure,
just very hush hush. So
sure.
yeah.
I know what when we were covering Sarah Boone, and I know what Scott went through to get Jules and I media passes. He had to have a website. You had to have certain subscribers for his YouTube channel. It was yeah. He had to jump through hoops as well. So I can
Yeah.
appreciate what you're going through.
So it's a lot of work, but to be fair, in the end, that's again, like I have everything. The no is always guaranteed. I know that the no is there, but they can
Hmm.
surprise me and say yes.
There you
And if
go.
they do it, fantastic,
There
amazing,
you go.
awesome. If they
Yeah.
say no, there's a solution. I can make the trip 6 hours and just go live and try to remember everything, and then on breaks be frantically typing and writing
Right.
all about that I can remember, and then go from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, more power to you if you can remember that. My brain is sieve. I got to write my notes down. I can't. I
Oh,
can't.
I try to write notes, but I get
Yeah.
distracted too quickly.
Right. Oh, let's see. Okay. So here, therapist, is saying this was trial of
Yeah,
Lucy Letby, the inquiry. Okay.
yeah.
And guys, if
So
you
it's
want,
obviously not the trial per se, but it's just the like snippets of it, because
sure.
cameras are not allowed.
Gotcha. So I just want to give a shout out for those that are not seeing the chat. You can go subscribe to Katya's channel, True Crime Addict 8.
Yeah.
We got you up to 666. I don't know
Ooh,
what you started at, but
67.
oh, now you're up to 667. All right.
I know. The 666 is gone, but it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry. No
It
worries,
was there for a
everyone.
moment. It was there for a moment. So Ken loves your commitment and so glad to have met you.
Ah,
Thanks for
thank
your
you.
insight. There you go.
It's just that, but I try to bring something different, and yeah. Sorry if you hear snoring. Nightbot is snoring right now, so I'm trying to hit him with something
Oh,
for him not to snore.
oh no,
So
no, let him sleep. Let him sleep.
I
Let
feel
him,
bad for him. It is
yeah.
to half two in the morning, so I do feel bad
Mhm. Gotcha.
that
Well,
he
I
did
mean,
wake up with me too. Yeah.
I know. I'm good to start to shut it down. How about you? Do you want to
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fine. I can go
yeah,
and have a little bit of a nap and more
yeah,
coffee, because definitely not need more coffee for today.
gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna bounce off and I'll come back, but I'll give the screen to yourself. I learned this from Baker. I thought this was really nice of him to do. I'm going to remove myself and then you have a few moments to tell everybody who you are and
Oh,
what what you're all about. So I'll be back in a second.
that's not scary at all. Hello. Oh no, I'm in a big screen now. But yeah, so it's just a bit of a crazy lady, I guess. No, I'm joking. I bring a little different flavor into things. I do like really doing what I do in terms of covering trials and learning about the American law. I actually bought a book about the American law. It's American Law for Dummies, because that's me. So it's really nice to meet you guys. I do miss the fact that when on the day before I stream it, I was in all the chats and talking. I do miss that part and interacting with you guys. But sometimes you can always pop by the other side of the thing, but still support Trial TV Live. They are amazing. Support them if you can. Have two screens. I have it sometimes on my phone while I'm streaming. I have another feed, another stream going, and I try to like bounce both. But yeah, it's been really awesome to be here today. They are amazing. They do really well. And I hope YouTube sort the stuff out, because it's what happened in November. Not very happy about that. But let's not, of course, as like I love trial TV life. I like really coming here. They bring another flavor to the scene of true crime, and how they cover things, and the amazing work they go through as well. Putting to get the coverage, even though they had to change and adapt, like we all have to do through life. You have to change and adapt. They adapted very well to go from the way they would start streaming and the way they are streaming now, with all the changes and everything. But they're doing amazing. And Chris is a natural. The Squeegee of Justice is absolutely a natural on camera, and I really like it to see it. To see him more, and Erin as well. I mean, she does an amazing work in the background with the research and make sure that things are working properly. That's yeah. But do you guys have any questions before Squeegee comes back? If you have, just let me know on the chat. Um, Ask almost anything. What I say is, if I don't want to answer a question, I will just say I don't speak English, and then I can answer it in Portuguese, and we'll never know probably what it is. So, yeah, it's just very interesting. I love doing this. I can talk. I don't know if you noticed, but I can talk for England. I can talk nonstop. I've always have something to say.
All right, I'm going to
You
come
want me
back
to
and
say fact?
I'm going to come back. I'm going to rescue you
Thank
before you
you.
take
I
over
was
the
just like,
show.
please, I'm drowning.
No, I just wanted you to say a little bit about yourself, and thank you for those kind words. We appreciate you as well. And
It's only the truth, You've
yeah,
got to share the truth.
I hear you. I hear you. Yep, everybody's saying thank you for being with us.
Nah, thank you for
Uh,
having me. I had so much fun, even
yeah,
though I am tired, but it was worth it for
yeah,
sure. It's always
yeah.
worth it to come by. Absolutely, always. And I do always come by if I don't say anything in chat. I always come, leave my like, and if I have to go, I go. But I always try to come by. But
Mhm. Great. All right, one last from Ken. Don't want to spam, but Katya, to see this, I'm a U.S. lawyer who really appreciates the responsible approach you've taken. Just like us, you're an asset to the system.
Oh,
Well, thank you.
I'm trying to see things from another person, because, for example, Chris and the other creators, apart from Broken Baker that I know, and Karen, they're not in the US, so we have a completely different perspective than you guys have, and we are
Mhm,
looking into it. You are guys are living it, so we're trying to kind of give that sense and trying to learn, because I don't know a lot. That's why I bought the book, The Law, American Law for Dummies, to try to
mhm,
understand a little bit more about American law and
mhm.
all the constitution and everything. But you guys are living it, so you have grown up with it. We didn't. So we're trying to give our opinions, but also, as always, being respectful and mindful. That's how things are. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And it's funny because, yeah, you're right. We grew up with it, and we may not have been into it until later in our lives, if you will, but growing up with it, it's
Yeah.
just there, Like I grew up with, you're right. You just grow up with it, whether it's in the papers or it's a family member, or whatever it is. It's just there. And like I said, I didn't get into true crime in this respect until I met Aaron, but it was just always there. I just knew
Yeah.
about OJ. I knew about Rodney King. I knew about the Menendez brothers. I just knew about the Manson,
Yeah.
family. I mean, I was a kid. I was a kid back then, but it just was in. It's like it was in the air. These big trials are just in the air. Everybody's talking about them. It's on the
Yeah.
news. You can't escape it.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, cool. All right, well,
Yeah.
we will let you go, and I want to thank you so much. Really
Thank
appreciate
you
your
for
time,
having me.
and guys,
Awesome.
definitely,
Thank you very
yeah.
much, you guys.
Okay, have a good night.
I'll definitely see you tomorrow. I'll pop in chat to leave my like as usual, as every
Oh,
day,
thank
and
you.
everyone should leave their like on the like button. Leave your DNA, people,
Absolutely, we'll do
and
the same for
support
you
Trial
too.
TV Life.
All right, we'll do the
Yeah.
same for you. All right, have a good night.
All right. See you
Bye.
later, guys. Bye.
Bye. All right. So, True Crime Addict 8, Katya, thank you so much again. I know it's late for you. Really appreciate your time. That was really fun. I had a really good time. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. So, all right, guys. With that, I think I am going to also say goodnight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Aaron And thank you to our mods, OnlyFan. You're a beast, man. You're a rock star. Thank you to Julie and Therapist Hellcat, Widespread Panic. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do. Let's see. Now tomorrow we are going to do Karen Reed. We're going to pick up on her and see where that takes us. Bev said they booked 2 days, so we're not sure if they're going to actually use 2 days, but we will be ready for her to do her 2 days. We also have Megan Boswell we're following. We have Monica Sementili we're following. We have so many trials out there right now. So it's the season, right? 'Tis the season, Ken. I think you said something about that earlier today. So, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to play the outro, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.